They say looks can be deceiving, but what happens when your therapist turns out to be a monster? This story is more than just a murder case. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers that can lurk in plain sight. So grab your headphones and get ready for a wild ride, because this is a true crime story you won't want to miss. Maria Lafuente Casco, a respected psychologist in Mexico City, was known for her dedication to her patients. Following in her father's footsteps, Dr. Alberto Lafuente Grimaldi, Maria had a passion for helping others navigate the complexities of life. Her practice in Cuauhtémoc served as a haven for those seeking support, and Maria herself maintained a healthy lifestyle through fitness activities. However, Maria's personal life wasn't without challenges. A turbulent relationship with a former partner led to legal proceedings and even temporary incarceration. Despite this setback, Maria emerged resilient. She claimed self-defense in the situation and was ultimately released, with the judge acknowledging the complexities of domestic violence. This experience only strengthened Maria's resolve to continue supporting others through her work. Have you ever sought help from a therapist, only to find yourself tangled in a web of manipulation? Dr. Maria Lafuente Casco, a respected psychologist in Mexico City, seemed like the epitome of professionalism. But beneath the surface lurked a chilling truth. In 2011, a young woman named Margarita sought therapy from Dr. Lafuente Casco due to depression stemming from her parents' recent divorce. However, Margarita found the therapist's approach odd as she delved into seemingly irrelevant details about her family, particularly her father's habits and profession. Margarita's father, Alan Carrera Queller, was a well-known businessman who had also sought therapy from Dr. Lafuente, Casco's father, Dr. Alberto Lafuente, following his divorce and subsequent battle with alcoholism. Surprisingly, Dr. Lafuente Casco expressed a keen interest in meeting Alan, insisting on an introduction despite Margarita's initial reluctance. Eventually, Margarita agreed, and during her therapy session, she brought her father to meet the therapist. Subsequently, a romantic relationship blossomed between Alan and the therapist, facilitated by her charm and manipulation of his emotional vulnerabilities. The therapist's obsession with luxury, combined with her unethical behavior, paints a disturbing picture. Was Dr. Lafuente Casco a predator in disguise, or something even more complex? The answer lies in the tangled web of her desires and motivations. Margarita, initially trusting Dr. Lafuente Casco as her therapist, found her world turned upside down. The therapist's unsettling behavior escalated to a chilling confrontation, revealing a dangerous side lurking beneath the facade. Margarita discovered the romantic involvement between her father, Alan, and the therapist, prompting her to confront Dr. Lafuente Casco. She expressed her dismay at the therapist's lack of professionalism, especially considering the impact it had on her as a patient dealing with depression. Margarita felt vulnerable and distressed, seeing her recently divorced father now romantically involved with her therapist. In response, Dr. Lafuente Casco reacted angrily, rebuking Margarita for interfering and escalating the confrontation by threatening her with harm if she persisted in opposing their relationship. Dr. Lafuente Casco's threats left Margarita feeling even more vulnerable and terrified. The therapist's volatile response shattered the trust Margarita had placed in her, creating a chilling dilemma: how to protect herself and her father from this manipulative predator. Margarita's world further tilted on its axis as Dr. Lafuente Casco's possessiveness morphed into something more alarming. The therapist's manipulative hold on Alan tightened, culminating in a shocking development. Following the confrontation, Margarita ceased attending therapy sessions but remained proactive by discussing the situation with her relatives. They were already aware of Alan's peculiar behavior, seemingly controlled by the therapist and acquiescing to her every desire. To everyone's surprise, both Alan and the therapist appeared at a family gathering, announcing their intention to marry. It was rumored that the rushed decision stemmed from Lafuente Casco's alleged pregnancy with Alan's child. Subsequently, they celebrated a private wedding attended only by the therapist's relatives, further fueling suspicion among Alan's family regarding his new wife's true motives. The rushed wedding and secretive ceremony cast a dark shadow over the couple's newfound union. Was Dr. Lafuente Casco's pregnancy genuine, or merely a ploy to secure her position in Alan's life and potentially his wealth. Alan's family remained unconvinced, determined to uncover the truth behind the therapist's sudden desire for marriage. Married life with Dr. Lafuente Casco proved to be far from the fairy tale Alan envisioned. Beneath the charming facade lurked a disturbing truth about the therapist's past. The honeymoon phase of Alan and Dr. Lafuente Casco's marriage quickly dissolved as Alan began to see his wife's true colors. Her manipulative behavior intensified, and a chilling secret from her past came to light. Dr. Lafuente Casco's incarceration wasn't just a bump in the road, it exposed a violent and disturbing side she desperately tried to conceal. The details were horrifying. During a heated argument with her former husband, Dr. Lafuente Casco orchestrated a cruel deception. Luring him in under the guise of a happy reunion with their child, she launched a vicious attack with a fireplace poker and a knife. The escalation didn't stop there. Dr. Lafuente Casco even attempted to inject her ex-husband with an unknown substance, all while their daughter witnessed the traumatic scene. Despite the severity of the incident, her ex-husband's complaint was inexplicably dismissed, leading to Dr. Lafuente Casco's release. Even more shocking, she resumed her professional career as a therapist, a clear violation of ethical codes. Rather than seeking help for the underlying psychological issues at play, the therapist chose to bury the disturbing episode and continue her life as if it never happened. Dr. Lafuente Casco's past paints a terrifying picture. The therapist's violent tendencies and the baffling dismissal of the charges raise serious questions about her mental state and the motives behind her pursuit of Alan. This revelation leaves Alan trapped in a dangerous situation, and the safety of both him and his family hangs in the balance. Alan's discovery of Dr. Lafuente Casco's dark past sent shivers down his spine, but nothing could have prepared him for the therapist's horrifying act of revenge after uncovering his infidelity. Strained by Dr. Lafuente Casco's erratic behavior, Alan sought solace in an extramarital affair. Unfortunately, the therapist discovered his infidelity through a routine phone check. While a normal person might confront the issue or end the relationship, Dr. Lafuente Casco's response was anything but ordinary. Consumed by a thirst for revenge, she devised a sinister plan to punish Alan in a way he would never forget. On November 4, 2014, Dr. Lafuente Casco's twisted scheme unfolded. She drugged Alan with a powerful sedative, rendering him helpless. A knife lay at hand, a potential weapon, but the therapist had something far more gruesome in mind. After disappearing briefly, Dr. Lafuente Casco returned with a chilling instrument, a chainsaw. In a scene ripped from a nightmare, the therapist used the chainsaw to dismember her husband. The severed body parts were then callously discarded in various locations throughout the city. Dr. Lafuente Casco's calculated revenge transcends reason. The use of a chainsaw and the methodical disposal of the body parts paint a picture of a disturbed mind. This horrifying act leaves us with a chilling question. What darkness lurks within the therapist, and what drove her to commit such an unthinkable atrocity? The monstrous act remained shrouded in mystery for a few days until a horrifying discovery brought the truth to light. The gruesome truth behind Alan's disappearance unfolded as authorities discovered his torso abandoned on a city street. As days turned into weeks, Alan's family's concern escalated due to his wife's increasingly evasive responses to the messages sent to Alan's phone. Dr. Lafuente Casco's attempt to control the narrative through her husband's phone only heightened suspicion. The facade crumbled when authorities apprehended Dr. Lafuente Casco while she attempted to flee. A closer look at her residence revealed a trail of evidence: suspicious activity involving suitcases, Dr. Lafuente Casco's nervous demeanor, and ultimately, the physical proof: Alan's head, hands, and the murder weapon, all found amidst a blood-stained crime scene. These discoveries left no room for doubt and cemented the therapist's role in the horrifying act. Dr. Lafuente Casco initially received a relatively lenient sentence, but justice ultimately prevailed in 2022 when she was sentenced to a staggering 46 years and 6 months behind bars. However, the chilling truth may extend far beyond Alan's murder. Suspicions arose regarding Dr. Lafuente Casco's potential involvement in another unsolved murder, with human remains discovered near her residence in 2012. The possibility of a serial killer lurking within the respected therapist casts a long shadow, raising questions questions about the extent of her crimes and her potential place in Mexican and continental criminal history. Dr. Lafuente Casco's lengthy sentence reflects the severity of her crimes. However, the possibility of her involvement in an unsolved murder adds another layer of horror to the story. The therapist's public persona as a respected professional stands in stark contrast to the monster she has become. Were there more victims? The investigation into Dr. Lafuente Casco may have delivered justice for Alan, but the chilling possibility of a serial killer on the loose leaves a legacy of fear and a reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface.